yes. It says I'm live, so I guess it's working. Okay. Just give me a second. I'm just getting everything hooked up. Okay, I am live. Okay. How do I make this picture bigger? Be patient with me. There we go. All right, it's better. I'm trying to go live in 2 groups. Hold on a second. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see if I can get this facing the right way. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to my first self-care Sunday in the self-care group, and hello over in Empowered Women. I'm so excited to be doing this. I'm so excited about this new group. So for those of you who are watching this that aren't in this group, please feel free to join this group. It's just called Self-Care Sunday. Everybody's welcome. It's for everybody. And it's going to be kind of a little bit different than most groups. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. So for those of you who don't know me in this new group, my name is Tina Stinson. I'm a certified life coach. I'm a certified holistic health coach and a culinary nutrition educator. I focus on plant-based nutrition, and I will talk about that sometimes, but that's not the main topic. So mainly what I do is I teach self-care so that you can avoid stress, anxiety, and burnout. And I do that by helping you master your mindset and also helping you master your health, and then helping you incorporate those deep level self-care practices to get like this perfect kind of flow in your life. And it works really wonderful. So my goals for this group, like I said, is it's not really going to be like just me talking at you. This is more of self-care is a little bit of an ongoing journey for me, and I'll tell my story really quick because a lot of you have heard this before. So when I was 39, I had a stroke that was caused by stress and overwork and not taking care of myself. And so over the past many years, I've been on this self-care journey and trying to get better at it and better at it. And it's one of the things that has been the hardest for me. So that's why I keep working at it. So I just keep going deeper and deeper. And this is the main thing that I focus on with a lot of my clients. And I like to help someone else. I like to help other people avoid this burnout, this stress, this anxiety that caused my stroke. And so that's my main goal is to do that. So I'm inviting you into this group, this Self-Care Sunday group, to join me on my journey. I won't be talking at you all the time. I don't want to be talking at you. I want you to join me on this journey and start incorporating these things into your life. And I'm going to share with you what I'm focusing on right now. I will share some of the stuff that I've focused on in the past, which is something that I'm going to talk about today. But I'm also going to share with you exactly what I'm working on right now and how I'm going deeper and learning to incorporate this into my own life. So I'm inviting you not to like completely learn with me, but also to learn from me, but to learn with me. Okay. So I'm not talking at you, like I said, all the time. I want you to join in. I want you to ask questions. And if I don't know the answers, I'll get them for you. So the energy of this group, I want things to go back and forth. So I want you to talk to me, and being live from my laptop is something I normally go live from my phone. So I'm learning. I don't see a place where the comments are supposed to come in. So if I, for some reason, don't see the comments and you post a question, I will definitely get back to you, no matter what. Okay. So another thing I want to talk about is what is self-care. So I talk about surface level self-care and deep level self-care. And surface level self-care is very simple. It's just basically things that you do on the very surface level, like, enjoying a cup of tea while you're sitting in the sun, or getting a massage, which is very beneficial, but it's not something that it lasts very long. It's something that you'd have to repeat every single week. So deep level self-care is more of different practices that you learn and incorporate into your life. And then once you learn them and master them, then they serve you completely all the time. They're life-changing. And I want to also point out that self-care can sound a little feminine. And I always say, like I just said at the beginning of this, everybody's welcome in this group. So men, women, everybody is welcome in this group. I would probably say 18 or over because I have a filthy mouth sometimes. I try not to do it, but sometimes it just comes out. But everyone is welcome. And a lot of people feel like self-care is a very feminine thing, and it is a very feminine thing. And a lot of us, even as women, live in a masculine energy, which is like do, 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 do. And believe it or not, mothering is a masculine energy. So self-care is more of a receiving energy, which is more of a feminine energy. And that's why a lot of men are really kind of turned off by this, and also a lot of women that live in a masculine energy, which was me for a very long time because I was a single mother. I felt like I always had to be in mothering mode, and I was also working like a high stress sales job, so I always felt like I had to be in that go, 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 do, do, do mode, which is what caused my stroke. So you have to have like a balance of this masculine feminine energy. And what I want to point out is that all women and all men all have this balance. You know, while men might have more masculine energy and some women might have more feminine energy, it's good to have a little bit of balance of both and not be one or the other. And, you know, for men that are feeling a little bit weird about self-care, like you feel like it's feminine, I'd like to point out that being able to care for yourself helps you to be able to care for others, which is a very attractive component in any type of relationships. Also, being able to allow yourself to be vulnerable is also, it makes you more magnetic. It just makes you a better person. So these two very feminine energy traits make you very magnetic as a man. It makes you put much better energy into all of your relationships. And these aren't just like romantic relationships. I'm talking about all of your relationships. When you're caring for yourself, you can care for other people better all the time. Okay. So, starting points. I said today we were talking about starting points, which is really like one of the first things that you do in self-care. And so what I mean by that is, so maybe you're here because you're stressed out, you have some anxiety, maybe you know you need some self-care, maybe someone told you you need some self-care. Whatever the reason is, this is your starting point right now. And we're all at different starting points. Some of us are uber stressed out. Some of us aren't. In order to apply self-care, you have to kind of stand still and pay attention and hop off that hamster. I call it the hamster wheel of life. When you're in like this automatic mode and you're just going and going and going and you're not really paying attention to where you're spending most of your time. You're just doing the things that you think that are expected of you. And I'm asking you to jump off the hamster wheel and join me for a few minutes and learn how to do this on a daily basis. That's what I'm asking you to do. And to do that, you have to know where your starting point is, and then you also have to know where you're going. So, like if you went to a new city and you were on vacation or whatever, and you needed to go to Target to get a few things, what would you do? How would you find Target? So you would look up the address and you would pop it into your GPS and you would go, and the GPS would be like, okay, turn this way, turn that way, turn this way. But you have to have a starting point and then you have to have a destination. And so if your destination is living a more peaceful, joyful life and more of a state of flow, and you want to balance your energies in your body and you want to feel good, you don't want to be stressed out, you don't want to feel like you need self-care, you want to feel good, then that is your end point. Okay, so you know where you're starting and you know where your end point is. So we're going to kind of go deeper into where you're starting today so that you really need to be clear on these points. And the way that you do this is, and the way I do this in my programs, which is not what we're doing today, I do this balance sheet exercise where you kind of look at all the different areas in your life and you see where you're out of balance. So I'm kind of going to ask you to do that, but what I really want you to do is look at the different areas in your life, and I want you to decide what your core values are in those areas. So by knowing what your core values are, you know what you want to work towards on a daily basis. You want to know how you're spending your time, okay? So for instance, if your core value in health and wellness, I'll tell you my core value in health, okay? It's to eat a plant-based diet, okay? And I'm not talking about fitness because that's a separate area for me. So this is just health, you know? So I focus on a plant-based diet. I want to stick with this plant-based diet, but not just plant-based. I want it to be whole food. I want it to be healthy. I want to eat this way at least 80% of the time to keep myself well. Okay, so this is my core value. So every day I know what I want to work towards. I know what I want to do. That's my core value in that area. And what I'm challenging you to do today is to look at all these different areas. And I'm going to tell you my areas, but I would encourage you to look at your own areas. Like there's different things that are important to everybody. So I'm going to read some of mine. So my main focus is, sorry, I hear one of my dogs. Okay. My main focuses are health, fitness, love, friends, family. So relationships, but separate, like a love relationship, friend relationship, family relationships, career, money, spirituality, home environment. So what I mean by home environment is how it feels to be in your home, and also how easy things are, like you can move around in your home. So if it's cluttery or decluttered or whatever it is. So keeping your home environment not just pretty, but decluttered, and it has to be like your sanctuary, a wonderful place. Also, where you want to be living. So the town you live in, the place that you live in. So like, what is your home environment and what is your core values there? Okay, where do you want to be? How do you want it to feel? Kind of things like that. Self-improvement. So self-improvement to me is kind of like anything learning. So classes, anything, not just improving myself, but also like just learning new things maybe for my business and stuff like that. Fun, adventure, two separate things. So fun can be like smaller little things. I actually have a list that I make, 111 things that I want to do that are fun this year. And they don't necessarily have to be big things. It's more like, like once me and my daughter had a picnic in Central Park and we did watercolor painting, and I want to do that again. It was so much fun. So we're going to do that again. Adventure and giving back. So how do I want to give back? So those are all my little areas, and I might change that as time goes on. But for each area, having a core value is so important, because this is how you stop yourself from living in automatic and living on that hamster wheel. Okay. You look at the different areas of your life and you know what you want to work towards. You know, how many of us really know what we want to work towards right now, what our core values are? We might have like some that we know like deep in our soul, that we might have some boundaries there, but do you really know what you want to strive for and move towards? You know, so this exercise is just so powerful for me. There's no right or wrong answers. You could redo this whenever you freaking want. So it doesn't have to be, it's not like written in stone. You just have to have a starting point to know what you want to work towards. And then every day you could say, so I know what, I write out what my core values in all these different areas, my areas. And I know what I want to work towards. And yes, it does change sometimes, especially with like my business. It changes a lot. Okay. Some of the things that don't change are health and fitness, but everything else kind of changes a lot. And it's just a matter of knowing the direction that you want to go in and where you want to spend your time, and being more intentional about your time. I've been talking about that a lot lately. I have a masterclass coming up tomorrow. It's a 3-day masterclass called Time Expansion, and I'm talking about how you can create more time in your life using self-care methods. So if you're interested, definitely sign up for that. You have to be signed up to get like the emails, and you have to join another Facebook group that's going to just be like a temporary group. But anyway, being intentional about your time every day is the first step to a deep level self-care journey. Because if you don't know where the heck you want to go, then you're not going to really go anywhere. It's, you know, your life is going to take you with whatever direction the other people in life will be taking you. So other people will be making your decisions for you. You'll be reacting to the people in your life. You'll be doing what you think your significant other wants you to do, or society, or your family. It's time to really pay attention to yourself and go deep inside and decide what you want to do. You don't have to get any approval from anybody for this. You just have to decide for yourself and then move towards those things every single day. So those are your core values. So that is the starting point. And this is what I do this with all my programs, all my clients. I always start out with this. Okay. So what I want to talk about, what I'm working on right now, is I'm reading a book for my coaching. Okay. So I'm constantly expanding and how well I could do coaching. And another coach recommended this book to me. It's called The Ultimate You. It's a really, really great book, and I've really enjoyed reading it. And one of the topics that she talks about, it's by Sharon Pearson, who started whatever, the Coaching Institute. So it's like a coach certification program, a life coach, or I think it's just life coach certification program. But anyway, it's a fabulous book. Even if you're not a coach, it's really like a very healing book, I could say, because you could work yourself through these exercises. But super powerful for me. I think it would be super powerful for anyone, especially if you have any type of trauma that you need to heal from, which everybody has some type of trauma that their family gave them as a child. I don't think anybody got through childhood without trauma. And certainly in the past 2 years, we've all had a lot of trauma. So this book has been really, really wonderful. And it made me kind of revisit all the different areas in my life and rewrite out my core values. So it's really funny because when you're coaching, you could be really good at coaching somebody at something that you haven't really embodied yourself. So while I really focus on having my clients do this, I haven't updated my core values in so long. I'm just going to openly admit to that. So it's about embodying this practice of this self-care and pointing myself in the right directions. And so it was really good that I read this book. It was a great reminder to do my core value statements. And she does have worksheets that go along with this book and videos, and I haven't really dove into that yet. I can't wait to go look at that. But I am going to share with you part of the book because there's a part where she talks about self-care. So let me grab that. I'm going to read this to you. I was going to write out my own list, but I'm going to read this to you. So there's many ways that you can embrace self-care for yourself. And these ways were I just loved what she shared. I just love this. So I'm going to read most of what's on this list and share it with you. Some of it won't make sense unless you read the book first, because this is almost halfway through the book and there's terms in here that don't make sense. So I'll try to just skip over those. So and I'm sorry, I'm looking in two different directions. I have two cameras going on and I'm just not used to that. So I'm going to place my iPad here. I don't think that's blocking anything. All right. So make decisions from your values, not from the feeling of anxiety. Okay, so that's a really good point. We were just kind of talking about what our core values are. Make decisions that are going to move you toward your core values. And I thought that was a really good point. Not from feelings of anxiety, meaning not because you feel like you have to, or you're going to upset somebody or someone's going to be against it. This is what it's about, to really take care of yourself on a deep level. It's about respecting what your core values are. And there's other people that ask you to do the same thing. You have friends and family that you could probably think of someone in your head right now that has a strong core values, and how you know exactly what those core values are and you're not going to step on them. Okay? So think of that person, but there's not a lot of people like that. But that's the way you should be. If you're really taking care of yourself and you have self-love and self-respect, you have those core values and you stand for them. Do not put yourself down to yourself or to anyone else. Okay? Say no to a request that's not aligned with your values. And I'll also add that saying no is a complete sentence. You don't have to have an excuse. You don't have to explain yourself. If someone's going to respect your boundaries, they should just respect that you said the word no. You shouldn't feel like you have to explain yourself in any way. Say yes to a new adventure that is aligned with your values. So start saying yes to the things, even if they scare the shit out of you. Just say yes. So I find myself, I can be quite a scaredy cat sometimes. So the past couple of years, I've just been saying yes before I even think about it. I'm just yes. and then I just do it. And it's so much more fun that way. Okay. You figure it out. Even if it's super scary, you always figure it out. And it's way more fun. And yeah, you're going to make a shit ton of mistakes, but, this is how you move forward, by making mistakes. The mistakes are kind of like lessons. They're not really a failure. Okay. Mistakes are just lessons, and it helps you kind of like redirect where you need to go, what you need to work on. Extend kindness to someone who's acting like they don't have much of it in their life. And so this is a good one, especially in today's times, is really like looking at the other person that may not seem very kind themselves and extending kindness to them, because that might be exactly what they need to feel better. Be less emotionally reactive to anxiety in other people. And what this means is, people trigger each other, especially like family members. And when somebody triggers you, don't like emotionally react to it. Stay calm, feel the anxiety, feel the anger, but don't react. Just stay calm and then respond. Okay. And this is really, really hard, especially with the people that are closest to us. Super, super hard. But if you can learn how to do this, and the best way that I have learned to do this is pretend that you have a remote control. Do you remember that movie? I think it was called Click. And pretend that you can just stop that moment right there, right after somebody says something that triggers you or does something that triggers you. And don't emotionally react to it. And then have the time to decide how you want to respond. So you're allowed to do this. You're totally allowed to say to somebody, I need a little bit of space. I'll get back to you in a moment. Or I just need to think about this for a moment, or whatever. I just need to remove myself from the situation until I feel better. You can say that. That's fine. I need a moment. You're allowed to have a moment. There's no rules, okay? So don't react. Learn to take the time to respond. Acknowledge your own anxiety with compassion, okay? So have the same compassion that maybe you would have for your child or a friend when you're feeling anxiety. Where was I? Be mindful with quiet reflection of your own enmeshment with your tribe. And what that means is, this is one of the ones I was talking about. This is just like being mindful of the way that you react to the way that the people that set you off, the way that you're enmeshed with them, the way that and try to remove yourself from that. It doesn't mean you're removing yourself from a relationship. You're just removing yourself from that drama of emotionally reacting back and forth. It's called like tagging. So someone yells at you, then you yell back at them, and then you yell, and you don't even know what you're talking about anymore. So be mindful and notice that relationship that you have. Throw away outdated products. Okay. That's very random, I thought, in the middle of all these very emotional things, but that's in here. Have a date night with your partner once a week or even once a month. And I love this because people say, oh, I do this, but then if they really looked at it, they're not really doing it. They're only doing it every once in a while. So be more mindful about it. Keep your bedroom and bathroom tidy, clear of clutter, with small touches that help you feel like they're your sanctuaries. Read a book that nurtures your inner world. Eat healthily when others would be more comfortable if you had chocolate cake with them. Walk instead of driving. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Hold back from judging yourself or criticizing yourself. Learn a new skill. This is one of my favorites. Dance in your living room. Turn off Facebook or any other social media platform for hours. Definitely a good one. Build relationships in the real world, meaning in the world where you're working towards your core values. Learn to meditate. Yes. Give yourself a break with a kind word to yourself when everything and everyone is crowding in on you and you're feeling like overwhelmed. Okay. Know when you're maxed out. And even when you have to still keep going, recognize that you're a champion. Okay, just give yourself some credit. Look at the full moon. Wear your good underwear for no reason. I like that one. Use your good crockery just because. Use your good dishes. Be less precious about control and more delighted with the spontaneous moments. Acknowledge yourself and what makes me else? Okay, I read that one already. I'm sorry. Speak up and say what you feel overwhelmed, underappreciated, and taken for granted. So when you're feeling a certain way, it's okay for you to speak up and tell someone about it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, underappreciated, or taken for granted, it's okay for you to say this as long as you say it in a calm, responding way. Okay? Watch kids play. dance some more, and let go just for a moment of how things are supposed to be. Okay, let go of that. I'd say let go of that completely. So this is one of the first, my most favorite parts of this one chapter in the book. Once again, the book is The Ultimate You, or actually Ultimate You by Sharon Pearson. And this is the book I'm reading right now to learn how to be a better coach. Okay. And so I welcome you to like take a few things off of that list and start applying them. And I also welcome you to join me in writing out your core values. Now, I would like to also open up my availability for you to connect with me. So if you want to go over your core values with me and just talk to me about it, I'm not offering to coach you. I'm just offering to be a friend in this self-care group. So if you need someone to bounce something off or you have a question, feel free to ask it. If I could help you with it, I would be glad to. But I would love to share core values. If you want to know mine, I'd be willing to share mine with you. I don't want to read all of them right now just because it would just take so long. And I don't want to make these recordings very long. So that is it today. So once again, I encourage you to write out your core values in your important areas of your life. What are the important areas of your life? If you want to go and use some of mine, just go back and rewatch this and take a few things off that list and start doing them, start applying them in your life, and start working towards your core values. Now, these aren't goals or dreams, or you could write those out too. These are just the values that you have in the different areas of your life. Okay, so I welcome you to join me in that masterclass that's starting tomorrow, the Time Expansion Masterclass. If you haven't signed up, I don't know if I put a link on this page, but I'll put a link on this page for you guys so that you can sign up if you want to. I just want to emphasize, if you do sign up, yes, you have to opt into the emails. It says marketing emails, I think, but really it's the emails that tell you how to join me for the masterclass. So I've had a problem with this where some people, they see marketing emails, and I understand I don't want to get marketing emails either. But you have to get the emails in order to be able to learn how to join the Facebook group and get the emails of the recordings. I'm going to do this 3-day masterclass. I'm going to do the 3 days, and then those recordings are going to stay open on that Facebook page for 5 days, and then I'm taking them down, and then it's going to be a paid masterclass. So enjoy it while it's free. It's going to be either a paid masterclass or included as a bonus with some of my other programs. Okay, so I would love to have you there. It would be really cool. But also, I'll be here every week on Sunday with a different topic that I'm working on personally. I would love you to join me on this journey of self-care and start adding these things into your life. Thanks for tolerating my wandering eyes. I don't know what to look at when I'm recording in 2 areas, so I'm sure I'll get better at as time goes along. I will see you next week for a Self-Care Sunday. I love you guys. Bye. Mwah. Bye. Bye.